Okay. Shalom. Shalom. I'm back, everybody. I'm back. Wow. Sooner than later. Okay. Has anybody been watching Truth Unedited, Brother Ron's, latest docu-series about we are not black people? That part 6, man, created, you can say, inspired me to do this particular lesson. But it connects with what I've already taught on series 3. So this is just like a continuation, really, in part with series 3. If you have watched that part, what does it really say in Ibri? Series 3, the Bride of Messiah and the Remnant of Israel. This really connects into it. But what he taught last night just, woo, boy, had me searching some scriptures, and it really enlightened me on some things, and I pray that it will do the same for you. So let's pray. Abba Yahuwah, to the Rabbah for your word. Your word is life. It is transformative, and it's cleansing, and it's enlightening, and it just is so wonderful. Abba, I pray that as I do this teaching today on this Shabbat, I pray that you would bless every listener, that they would be barak, that they would be filled with more sound knowledge, sound understanding, and sound wisdom from your throne room of grace and mercy. Um, and just be glorified and continue to do what you do the best through the Ruach HaKodesh. We are on a journey, and it is amazing. Hallelujah. Toda Rabbah. B'Shem Yehoshua HaMashiach Nazari. In the name of Yeshua, Messiah the Nazarene. Amen. Okay. So we are going to be looking at, I titled this for series 4. Yeah, series 4. This is like my brain's like, okay, series 4 is series 4. Okay. I entitled this Beyond the Rivers of Kush. Now, a lot of the other scriptures will say beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. And if you have a map, we know that the modern day Ethiopia is the area of Kush. And actually, most of Africa was really called Ethiopia at one point in time on the ancient maps. So you might see some maps from the 1700s showing Ethiopia being in a smaller portion, but the older maps, I think the ones like before 1000 AD will show that the whole area, where we call Africa, was called Ethiopia. It was called Kush, even though we know that that was the area that was to be allotted to Ham's descendants, which is Put, Kush. Actually, Canaan was supposed to inherit that part in West Africa, but he stole the land of Shem, which is Israel. Yeah. So if I can find some ancient maps that shows that, I'll put them in the description. Okay. For right now, let's take the time to look at Isaiah chapter 18, verse 1. We're gonna look at Isaiah chapter 18, verse 1, 2, and 7 today, to expound upon Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 10. Now, I read that in series 3, and I will reread it again so you can get the context of why we are going to look into Isaiah chapter 18. So let's go, and we're going to go ahead right now, and we're going to look at Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 10. And this is the one that I'm going to be reading right here. Okay. Now, this is from series 3. I read this during series 3. So, from region beyond rivers of Kush, my incense prayers of my dispersed daughter shall carry up her offering or gift to me. All right. So, or you can say, my incense prayers of the daughter of my dispersed. Okay. You could read that way as well. But we know this is referring to the daughter of Zion. If you read the context of the whole chapter, becomes very obvious. And Zion is also called Jerusalem. So she has two names here. But this is what it's referring to. So we're going to look at what really is the from beyond the rivers of Kush. What is the region from beyond the rivers of Kush? Because if you look into Truth Unedited, Brother Ron's video, he talks about the history of the Zhou dynasty, the Mali Empire, and Shanghai, and how the Zhou dynasty was actually a dynasty of Hebrews from the lost tribes for almost 1,000 years, and then they were conquered by the Mali Empire temporarily, and then they gained a foothold for another, I think, 100 or 200 years as the Shanghai Empire, and then it became Negro land, and that group of people, along with the Yehudim, those of the tribe of Judah that came from Portugal and Spain and were shipped over to West Africa, they were eventually all, a lot of them were captured and taken to the Americas. Okay, that's the history that he gives in that particular video. So that's what inspired me to look at what is really, let's verify what the scripture says. What is really the region beyond the rivers of Kush? And is it really America? Is it really United States of America? Is it really North America? Not just any part of the Americas, but North America. And I'm going to show you a map that will give evidence and credence to that. Yeah. So let's start. Okay, Isaiah chapter 18, verse 1. Okay, so I'm pulling this up. Now, if you read from your KJV, obviously, I read both KJV and the Geneva, and it reads the same. It says, "Woe to the land shadowing with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia." This is the only time that the quote, "beyond the rivers of Ethiopia" or "beyond the rivers of Kush" is actually mentioned in all of scriptures outside of Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 10. This is the only other place that you can find that in quotes. All right, so this is why it really caught my attention, trying to dig into the history to see if the land beyond the rivers of Ethiopia or Kush was really like West Africa, the land where the Zhou dynasty and the Shanghai dynasty resides. Okay, that's what I was pretty much trying to investigate. But this really confirms some things that I've already heard from other people. But I don't tend to, like I said, I don't tend to jump on the bandwagon like that because I need scriptures. Some people might think that's like, well, why do that? Well, we live in a world full of deceptions. We have lying and seducing spirits that are pretending to be Yeshua, JC, as others would say, pretending to be a spirit of false holiness, all kinds of things. And even when the Messiah was here physically, he always backed up his ministry with scriptures. The things that he did, you would see in the Gospels, in the Besorah, where it would share what of the prophets relates to what he did. Or he was even reading in the congregation and he would say something like, from the book of Isaiah, he'll read the Torah portion from the book of Isaiah, and then he'll say, "This thing which you heard has been fulfilled before your eyes today." So you see, even the Messiah, he will always back up what he did and who he was and who he is with the scriptures. And that's the way it should be. Otherwise, you will be leaving every lying and seducing spirits, giving forth spiritual revelation. And as I say, the spiritual realm is not impressed by the physical realm. But for some reason, the physical realm, hence i.e. people, are extremely impressed with the spiritual realm. But we have to understand that all of the universe has been corrupted in some way. The earth has been corrupted with darkness. Even the heavens has been corrupted with darkness. We have the second heaven where there's darkness up there. Okay. So we have to be careful that even where our source that we get from Hashemayim, from the heavens, come from, because we have the highs of heaven where Yah's throne is at, but we also have a level of heaven above us that is full of darkness and evil entities and dark angels. So we need to be cautious. We need to verify it with the word. This is the safest thing for all of us. And Yeshua would do the same. He would never go against the word that was written in the scriptures. All right. So I just want to reiterate that. That's why I'm trying to, if people are going to say that the door of Zion is in so-and-so land, or the door of Zion is in South Africa, the door of Zion is, in Eastern Europe. I'm just talking about people saying certain things. The door of Zion is here and there, everywhere. The door of Zion is in North America. Then you need to prove it with scripture. Okay. You just can't just, think that the revelation that you receive is true and you don't back it up with scripture, because otherwise we can be misled with a lying spirit. And we all have to be careful of that. We were born into a world that's full of lies and full of deceptions. So it's a process. It's a journey for all of us to come out of that. So this is what this is all about. Okay, so now let's go to actually focusing on the first verse of chapter 18 of Isaiah. As I read to you, both in the KJV and in the Geneva, it reads, "Woe to the land shadowing with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia." And I read you Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 10, regarding the dispersed daughter, who is essentially the daughter of Zion, in the region beyond the rivers of Kush. All right. So I'm going to read this in Ibri, and then we're going to break it down from there. Hoi, aretz, zilzal, ke na faim, asher, me eber, la nahare, kush. Okay. Hoi, woe, aretz, land, zilzal. Now, here, zilzal, they say shadowing. But when you look at the Strong's in more depth, 6767, it could mean whizzing, bzz, or buzzing, bzz, or spear. So think about it. What happens if someone's shooting a spear really fast? What sound does it make? It makes a whizzing and a buzzing sound, depending on, if you have a bow and arrow and you are shooting your spear, or someone takes a javelin and they throw the spear, it will make a certain sound as it's spinning in the air. So this is what is that word zilzal is really saying, is whizzing, is buzzing in the air, is making that type of sound. Now the next one says ke na faim. Ke na faim means as with wings. That's Strong's 3671. Now, the interesting thing with this is that my question in my mind when I saw this word in Ibri was, well, how many wings? Does it mean multiple wings? Does it mean just, many wings? It means two wings, dual, two wings. So now I could add with clarity that this is as with two wings. And then Asher is which. Me eber, from beyond. Really, the word from beyond, if we look at the Strong's 5676, it could also mean opposite from or across. It could mean from across, from opposite, from beyond. Okay, so it's across something. So you have something here and you go across something, and that's what's referring to, or opposite to. Okay, something's over here and the opposite side will be over there. This is what this word is really illustrating. When it says from beyond, it just means opposite to or across. Le nahare, to the rivers, Kush, of Kush. Okay, so I'll read it the way I wrote it down from the Ibri. And it says, woe land of the whizzing spear with two wings, which is from across or from opposite to the rivers of Kush. I'll read it again. Woe, land of the whizzing spear with two wings, which is from across or from opposite to the rivers of Kush. Now, think about it. What do they really mean by whizzing spear with two wings? Draw a picture of it. Draw a spear and then add two wings to it. I'll show you what I drew from that illustration. Here is my whizzing spear with two wings. You ready for it? Okay. Did you draw yours already? I hope you did. Pause it and draw it. Now, here's my illustration. Oh, look at that. What does that look like to you? Oh my goodness. It looks like a missile, rocket, or an arrow. A spear, a whizzing spear with two wings. Oh, there's the wings. There's the wings and there's the spear. And you throw it in the air. It is the land of the missile, the land of the rocket, the land of the arrow. What land across the rivers of Kush of Ethiopia has a rocket, is symbolized with or notorious for having the missile or the rocket or the arrow? I'll let you think on that. Now, I know someone would say, well, in the modern day, various countries have missiles and rockets and arrows. So how do we know what land is really referring to? Well, we have two clues to look at. There's more information in verse 2 that gives us a better description of what was done on this land, okay? Or in connection to the land of the missile, of the rocket, of the arrow. And then you can figure out from there, okay? Let's go to the next verse. Okay, trying to make sure I did read that. Okay, let me just make sure. Okay, yeah, let's go to the next verse. Verse 2. Okay, so this is all what I did here. Okay. Okay, verse 2. All right, and it reads, that sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even vessels of bulrushes, upon the waters, saying, go, you swift messengers, to a nation scattered and peeled, to a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden down, whose land the rivers have spoiled. Now, the question is here, does that make any sense to you? I'm just staring at it. Does it? No, it doesn't make any sense. What were they doing? That was from the KJV. Look, the Geneva sound basically the same, okay? So let's just make some sense out of this, shall we? Okay. From the Ibri. All right, let's move on to the next one. I'm going to read it in Ibri and then I'm going to break it down. Hasholeach bayam zirim u bi kele gome al pene mayim leku mal akim kwalim el goy me mushak umorat el am nora nora, that's right, nora min hu wa ha goy kwa bu sa asher bats or baze u ne harim arzo. Okay, the first word, ha sholeach. It's like a verb, but it's in a adjective form and like an active form. So it could be sending or that sends. to send out. Okay, it's you're sending out what? Bayom is by the sea or by sea, westward. Okay, so bayom can have two meanings. It can mean by sea or westward. And in this case, it could mean both, sending by sea westward. So it's, Ibri, a word can have multiple meanings where, our English language, a word only has usually just one meaning. Okay. So here it could mean sending by sea westward. So it's telling you the direction that is going by the sea westward. Okay. The next word is zerim. Zerim means envoys. That's Strong's 6735. But I don't like the word they use, ambassador, because ambassador makes like someone who's being a representative. Really, the word here is more so envoys, like a navy, envoys, pangs or distresses. This is plural. This is a plural word. Envoys. Something is being sent by the sea westward. Okay. And these envoys or a navy or navies of some sort is coming forth, bringing pains, bringing distresses. Okay, so a military force is bringing pains and distresses. All right. The next word is ubikele, and in or on vessels, or you can say and on boats or ships. And that's Strong's 3627. Next word is gourmet, of bulrushes. That's 1573 in Strong's. And bulrushes were pretty much papyrus. It was the materials that was used by the Egyptians to essentially build ships. Okay, they would also, books and stuff like that, but they used a lot to build their ships. So just saying that these boats were made to be seaworthy. Okay, that's all it's really saying there. Al Panay, upon the faces. Al Panay, upon the faces. Mayim, of the waters, upon the faces of waters. So waters have multiple faces. What are the multiple faces of waters that we see on the surface of the earth? Think about it. When we say faces of waters, what are the faces of waters that we can see here on the surface of the earth? The sea, which is the ocean, lakes, and rivers, which includes their tributaries, creeks, streams, and things like that. These are the faces of the waters. So they're being sent by the sea westward. Okay. So these envoys are being sent by the sea westward and on ships to what? To the sea, to the rivers, and to the lakes. All right. And that's the end of that part. The word that you see here in your English Bible will say saying, and it doesn't exist. Actually, in fact, I believe this is just a period. This ends right here. This last part I just read describes the land of the swirling sphere with two wings. Okay, that sends out envoys that brings distresses and pains by the sea westward on ships and boats, upon the faces of waters, upon the seas, upon the rivers, and upon the lakes. Okay, now we go into a different part. So I described the land beyond the river beyond the rivers of Kush. Now the next part in the same verse is leku. That means go, you all. So that's go, masculine plural. Go, you all. Mal akim. Go, you all messengers. Go, you all angels. Qualim, swift. So it's the adjective. So go, you all swift angels. Go, you all swift messengers. So a directive is being given to the angels to be swift. Swiftly, go out, go over there. To do what? Go Here we go. El Goy, to a nation. Now, sometimes it can be translated as against the nation, but you'll see why I use to instead of against, because it's actually referring to, you'll see later, the remnant of Israel. Okay. At first, I thought maybe it was referring to, like, go swift angels against the nation. That's what I was thinking at first. But when I meditated on it, I looked at Isaiah chapter 18, verse 2, and Isaiah chapter 18, verse 7, and Micah chapter 4, verse 7. I realized it was really talking about the remnant of Israel. So, who are scattered out beyond the rivers of Kush. Okay, you'll see why that's the case. So the angels are being sent out to this nation. Okay, this is what the nation is described as. All right, here it goes. El Goy, to a nation. Me Mushak, which is drawn out, made strong. It really means to be made strong, to be made tall, meaning they weren't tall, but they were made tall. U Morat, which means like and polished. We were made tall and strong and refined and polished. Okay, activating them, active. El to a people. No Ra, to be revered. Okay, to be feared. Mean who. Okay, mean who, from him. Now you'll see they'll translate it as from their beginning, but really mean who just means from him. Okay, him, the source of the strength of this nation, from him. Wa hal ah, and beyond, from yonder. Now this word and wa hal ah, when it says and beyond or from yonder, is really referring to beyond a season of time, from beyond time, from way back yonder. Okay, this nation, a people to be revered from him, from beyond time and from beyond time. Okay, and beyond time. Okay, this nation and beyond time. This nation exists beyond time, from way back yonder. Okay, Goy, a nation. Okay, so from beyond time, a nation. Kwa kwa. Kwa kwa is just saying, kwa kwa is like a rope or a cord. So it's like cord. So it's something that a nation that's strong, okay, fortified. If you take two strings or two cords and you put them together, you make them stronger, right? A 3-strand cord is not easily broken. So think about that when you hear the word kwa kwa. So goy, kwa kwa, a nation, very mighty, fortified, okay? Like a strong cord. Ume bu sha. I'm sorry, ube mu. Sorry, Salakli. Ume busa. Busa, okay? Ume busa. Ume busa, okay? Or busa. Salakli. And subduing, trampling, conquering, okay? It doesn't mean that the nation was trodden down per se. The verb tense as used here in the Strong's 4001 is talking about this nation that is subduing, okay? A nation that is mighty and subduing, okay? And then the last part, asher bazeu, which is or in which they divided Neharim, the rivers, are zo, of his land. But you could also translate this as in which they divided or cut through the rivers of the earth. Okay? Of his earth. Because we know that the earth belongs to Yehovah. So, all right. So this is the way I actually finalized this particular verse 2, from the Ibri. Okay, and I'll go ahead and reread the first verse and then just let it roll into the second, so then it can be more smoother. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna start back here. Woe, land of the whizzing spear with two wings, which is from across or opposite to the rivers of Kush, that sends by sea envoys of pains and distresses, and on ships of bulrushes upon the faces of waters, which is the seas, rivers, lakes, period. Go, you all swift angels, to a nation made strong, fierce, polished, to a people to be feared and revered from him and from beyond time, a nation of might, subduing, conquering, trampling, in which they divided the rivers of his earth. Okay, so I read you this part and then this part. Okay, we're going to do the last verse here, which is verse 7. Okay. Okay, so go down to verse 7, where it says, in that time, in that time shall the present be brought unto Yehovah of hosts, of a people scattered, peeled, from a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden underfoot, whose lands the rivers have spoiled, to the place of the name of Yehovah of hosts, the Mount Zion. Okay, as I said, this is going to make more sense. All right. So last read in Ibri, ba'et or ba'et, hahi, yubal, shai, la Yehovah, Zebaot, am, me mushak, umorat, umeam, noro, nora, min hu, waha'a, goe, kwa, Busha, sorry, keep saying I want to say Shah, but it's to Mek. It's Busa, Asher, Bazeu, Ne, Harim, Arzo, El, Mekom, Shem, Yehovah, Zebaot, Har, Zion. Okay. Be'et, in time, Hahu, the she. Obviously, they translate it as that. So, in that time, and I like to keep the Hebrew context to say, in the she / that time. Yubal, Shay, Yubal Shai, the gift or a gift, an offering, a present, a gift shall be brought. La Yehovah, to Yehovah, Sabaoth, of host, Am, Me, Mushak, a people. Okay, this is now we go back to a people made strong. U, Morat, and polished, fierce. U, Meam, and from a people, Norah, to be revered, to be feared. Mean who, from him. Waha'a, and beyond time, Goy, a nation, Kwa, mighty, like a fortified cord, like a unified cord. U, Me, Busa, and trampling and subduing. Asher, that or in which Ba, Bazeu, they have divided. Ne, or cut through, they have divided or cut through. Ne Harim, the rivers. Arzo, of his land, of his earth. El Me Kom. Okay, hold on. El Me Kom, yes. To a place or to the place. Shame, of the name Yahuwah, of Yahuwah, Sebaot, okay, of host, Har Zion, Mount Zion. Okay, so let's put it all together here. And it reads, in the she, or that time, the gifts shall be brought unto Yahuwah of hosts, a people made strong and fierce, polished, from a people to be revered, to be feared from him. And beyond time, a nation of might, trampling, subduing, in which they divided the rivers of his earth to the place of the name of Yahuwah of hosts, Mount Zion. Okay, so really, when you read this way, you'll understand that the gift is the people. The gift is being brought to Yahuwah. The gift is being brought to the place of the name of Yahuwah of hosts, which is called Mount Zion. This people, this present, this gift to Yahuwah is being brought to Mount Zion. And this is a people, as it said, made strong and polished, a people to be revered from him, comes from him. This people comes from him. Beyond time, they are beyond time. They existed beyond time. A nation of might. It looks like I said night, but it's might. Okay. A nation of might and trampling, in which they divided the rivers of his earth. Okay, so this type of people are being brought to Mount Zion. So who will be brought to Mount Zion? Where do we see that a gift in the she time, in the time of the daughter of Zion, who is the bride of Messiah, in the she time, a gift is going to be brought to Yahuwah of hosts. And this gift is a people who are strong, mighty, to be revered, conquering, subduing, and being able to divide, meaning rule over, divide the rivers of his earth. They're going to be brought to Mount Zion. So where do we see a people being brought to Mount Zion? Now, we're going to tie this into the book of Revelation, okay, chapter 14, verse 1. Revelation, chapter 14, verse 1. Okay, give me a moment here. And we're going to test, how do we know this is the case? Okay, look at this. And it reads, chapter 1, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. So who is it referring to in Isaiah chapter 18, verse 7? Who is being brought to Mount Zion? Okay, to Yahuwah of hosts. These angels in verse 2 of chapter 18 of Isaiah that I just read, verse 2, the angels are gathering this nation, this mighty nation of people. And in verse 7, we see at the end, they bring this nation of people unto Yahuwah of hosts, unto the Lamb on Mount Zion. We see a direct correlation with Revelation chapter 14, verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. Now, if you want more proof, we can go and look at Micah chapter 4, verse 7. That also shows this similar pattern. Okay, so I read that in my last series. Okay, this one right here about and this is tied into the daughter of Zion, the rib, the bride of Messiah. Look at that. And I will set up and appoint and make the rib her remnant. Okay, that's her posterity, and the removed one, feminine singular, to a nation. Okay, appoint to her a nation, powerful and numerous. In the Hebrew word, it really means bone breakers. And Yahuwah, he shall reign over them. Where? In Mount Zion, from this time forth and as far as eternity. This is a nation beyond time, a nation beyond, from yonder, from beyond time, a nation that exists in the realm of eternity. This is what we're referring to. When I read Isaiah chapter 18, verse 2, the angels come and gather them and take the rib and the people and the nation that was in the land beyond the rivers of Kush, take them from there and bring them to Mount Zion. So I showed you in Revelation chapter 14, verse 1 and Micah chapter 4, verse 7, that this is what it's referring to. The remnant of Israel, who is 144,000, who is that strong and mighty nation who will be brought to Mount Zion, okay, and standing with the Lamb. So I want to show you on the map what the land of the swirling, the land of the missile, the land of the rocket, the land of the arrow would most likely be located, okay, across from opposite to the rivers of Kush. So I have this here, this illustration here. It's my clock, my 24-hour clock. People go, oh my goodness, isn't it a flat earth map? Whatever, grow up, people. I love you. Anyway, so the way I was able to detect where is I set up Israel directly due north on this map. Okay, I'm gonna do my best here. Okay, I'm gonna turn it, rotate it. Okay, directly due north on this map. Israel. All right. Okay, so now since we got Israel right here, we're going to use some paper. That didn't go out right. Okay. I had another sheet of paper. Oh. I'm going to just fold this in half. I'm going to fold this in half so you can see. Okay. I'd rather have a ruler, but oh well. Okay, so here we have Israel due north as best as possible. Now, the rivers of Kush are going to be over here. Okay, this is the river, the Nile River. The Nile River and the tributaries are the rivers of Kush. Now, remember which way the rivers of Kush flow. The rivers of Ethiopia. They flow in this, I'm sorry. They flow in, I'm trying to, it feels funny trying to, up, down. Okay. Okay, it flows in this direction. Okay. Right there. This is funny. It flows in this direction. Okay. Okay, there's Egypt over there, right here. Okay, so it flows in this direction. So if I put a line, if I take my sheet, use it as a ruler, and I go straight across where the rivers of Kush are. Okay, and I'm going south on this map. Okay, I'll show you because that's the direction where the river empties out. Okay, the river empties out in the Mediterranean. So I'm going to go in this direction. Let me show you where it lands. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, hold on. Let me position it. Okay, there's, okay, I see Israel. There's the rivers of Kush. Okay, go straight up and down. Straight up and down. There's the rivers of Kush. I hope this doesn't move. I'm going to do my best, y'all. Where does it go into? The rivers of Kush go straight down to where? I'm sorry. It goes straight down into North America. The opposite of the rivers of Kush is actually North America, not even South America. It goes straight, the rivers of Kush go straight down into North America. That is the region beyond the rivers of Kush. It goes straight down into North America. The land of the missile, the land of the rocket, the land of the arrow, the land where they sent Navy ships, military Navy ships, okay, that caused distresses and pains for our people. The land where they sent by the sea, going westward, okay, because you still have to go westward to get to the Americas from Africa, on ships to a place of many waters, the seas. They went across the seas, they went across the river, the Mississippi, they went across lakes. Okay, so yep, that's the evidence right there I wanted to show you. But as I said, I was inspired by Brother Ron of Truth Unedited, his last video, his latest video, part 6. That really was like, let me look into this beyond the rivers of Kush, the rivers of Ethiopia. So anyway, I hope this was very fruitful. I wasn't really expecting it to tie into the series from before, but you know, that's how the Ruach HaKodesh works, okay? We're learning bit by bit, climbing up that ladder. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Take the time to test it out. Go back through the verses yourself. The blueletterbible.com, and you can get a flat earth map, and position Israel directly due north, and then go straight down from the rivers of Kush, and you'll see it lands straight into North America, the land of the swirling spear with 2 wings, the land in which they sent envoys, Navy ships. Okay? Envoys on Navy ships upon the faces of waters, upon the seas, and upon the rivers, and upon the lakes. Okay, so with that, I say shalom. Shalom.